welcome to another episode of Better You Life Coaching. I'm your host, Dre, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. This is going to be one of my first ride-alongs where it's not going to be just one topic. I'm just probably going to do like a stream of consciousness to a couple things that's been sitting on my mind lately. So, first and foremost, one thing that I constantly hear come up in relation to a lot of things is this logical fallacy, per se. Basically, it's person hasn't had X result, so, or been able to accomplish X, so how can they give me any feedback on a particular thing? And the thing that you have to keep in mind is, excuse me, pollen's kind of got me messed up a little bit. The thing you have to keep in mind is when it comes down to a person's credibility and their knowledge, there's so much more than have they done a thing. I'll give you an example. Michael Jordan is considered the greatest basketball player of all time. Personally, he's my GOAT. But he also, frankly, sucks as a GM. He sucks as an owner. And a similar case when it comes to coaching. Some of the best coaches have been some rather, run-of-the-mill average players. Phil Jackson was an average player that came off the bench, and he was known as a defensive specialist. Pat Riley, similar story. Bill Belichick never even played the game of football on any level. And you would be a fucking fool to say you want to be a great football player and not take his advice, or at least not consider what he has to say. And the thing of it is, I feel like when it comes to evaluating somebody's effectiveness and their ability to coach and offer critique to others, it really comes down to this. What are the outcomes that people have been able to gain from following your advice? There's a song, there's a line in a song by Jay-Z. It comes off the Black album. And it says, niggas saying they made J, okay, make another J. And when I was young, I didn't really comprehend it, or even the significance of the line he was saying. I thought it was just really like, people trying to take credit for his success, saying that they made him. But honestly, the way I look at that line now, if you want to be successful in nearly anything in the world, you have to be able to find success and replicate it. So, in terms of people saying they made J, okay, make another J, like, that's a challenge. Like, even in my work, I've had the opportunity to coach and mentor some people. And it's one thing for you yourself to be a performer. It's one thing for you yourself to be able to achieve an outcome. It's another thing for you to be able to impart the knowledge and wisdom needed for somebody else to attain that thing. And I'll be honest, like, in terms of my work, I'm not saying I'm a horrible employee or anything like that, but I've been able to coach people to higher heights than even I achieved. And that is something that comes out in the wisdom that I've been able to accrue, the knowledge that I've amassed over my years. And it's a lot of things that you can apply that to, whether it be sports, your career, relationships, etc., etc. The people who are trying to mentor you and give you some advice. Like, first thing shouldn't be, have you achieved that outcome? First thing, in my opinion, should always be, who have you helped achieve this particular outcome? Because it's one thing for you to say, yeah, I've been successful. Cool. How many other people have you helped find similar levels of success as you? Because this is the thing that I feel a lot of people ignore, which honestly is the most important factor when seeking advice or mentorship from someone. Frankly, their own personal accomplishment isn't the most relevant thing. It's exactly what I said. Can they replicate it? Can they replicate their success with other folks? And when it comes down to it, the most pertinent question is, who else can you point to that you've got successful outcomes for? And if they're able to produce some bona fides for you and hold up some strong examples, hey, that's probably somebody you want to take heed to. Because in the same way, I'll be honest, like, I've never played the game of football professionally. Neither has Bill Belichick. But I'll tell you this, I don't know half of what Bill Belichick knows. And anybody who would say, oh, well, you're the same level. You'd be a damn fool to listen to me about football. But then in the same breath, I'm a certified life coach. I've been through certain things in life. I've had certain experiences, and I've been able to help others, close friends and family, and even a few people that I, at various points mentored or even have had as a client, formally or informally, through various situations, such as, making personal improvements, advancing their career, helping them through certain rough spots in their relationships, so on and so forth. So that's one thing that I feel everybody kind of needs to always keep in the back of their mind when they're evaluating someone who's a mentor or who's going to be a mentor, some type of a consultant for them in their personal life. Honestly, I feel a great example of that fallacy, what I was talking about, is, frankly, you have some people who are unmarried and can give you very, very good advice, partially because they don't have the perspective that you do. They're able to give you some advice because they can see the whole picture. They can see the whole scenario. In kind of to go back to the sports scenario, when you're playing the game, the field looks different than when you're coaching. And oftentimes there are things that you can't see as a player that your coach is able to see and relay back to you to help make you better and more successful when you go out there against the defense. And it's a similar thing. Honestly, I feel like there are a lot of folks who would look to say someone like a Jada Pinkett and say, oh, well, she's married and they have a marriage that's lasted like 20-something years or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So whatever spit she talking on the Red Table Talk, like, yo, they got to be a little something to it. And I'm just going to keep it a buck. I don't know anybody who has listened and gotten significant advice that's helped their particular situation from listening to her. Not saying that it couldn't have happened, or didn't happen in any way. Just I've watched some of her content and I find it to be unhelpful. So, but once again, using that same fallacy, her marriage would give her credibility, whereas somebody who was unmarried, they would say is less credible, but could have more experience in matchmaking, dating, and relationships, or whatever. The next thing that's kind of been popping up on my radar has been dealing with setbacks. Setbacks are part of life. They're gonna happen. The only time they don't is when you aren't endeavoring to be better. And a few of my friends know some of the things I've been going through, and I've gotten this question a couple times from some of them. It's like, yo, bro, how do you keep your fire going when you get in a no after no after no after no, and it seems like the door is slammed shut on you? Like, bro, like, how? And I tell them, and this is my personal way that I deal with setbacks and I deal with any type of adversity. I've told them repeatedly, like, you have to acknowledge the feelings and emotions you have from that setback. If you was going for a job, for example, or if you were trying to get a particular accomplishment, and you fall short, like, it stings. There's disappointment, and it's okay. First thing, I have a thing that called my 3-day rule, and what that is I allow myself 3 days to essentially wallow, grieve, throw my temper tantrum, whatever you want to do, say, call it, and that's simply to express any angst that you may have occurred or incurred from it. But the important thing is, on that 3rd day, like, you got to get up. Yeah, you got knocked down, so what? You got to get the fuck up. And there's so many people that I feel like they get lost in the disappointment, and it's easy to sit there and wallow. It's hard to get up. Getting back up is half the fight. If you're being told no for a particular thing, whether it be a house, whether it be a job, yeah, you might gotta know today. What about tomorrow? What about the day after? How can you be better so that the next time you go for it, that no becomes an obvious yes? I'm a believer in God, and there's a verse in 2 Corinthians that says all things are for our sake. And for me, I view that as, regardless of what happens, I view it as one of those things where I truly can't lose. That the only thing I can do is snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. I'm already there. That's the default. And if I quit, that's when I flip it. That's when I snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And for me, I'm a believer that in your adversity is where your grace lies. And what I mean by that is this. Just to use the job example. If you're going for a particular role, and say, for instance, you found that you've been passed up, it's easy to say, you know what, I'm through, I'm done, and just move on. But the thing that I find is, if you got the right attitude, if you truly have endeavored to make yourself better and take in the feedback that's come with every one of them, getting turned down 1 or 2 times, 3, 4, 5, each and every time you should be getting better. And as you get better and better, you make yourself the more obvious choice. And it's gonna get to a point where, granted, I don't blame anybody who's like, you know what, if I've been turned down 3, 4 times for a single position, it feels like they obviously don't want me. I wouldn't blame anybody who decides to look elsewhere. But this is the thing, this is what I mean by your grace is in your adversity. The preparation for that role, whether you decide to keep putting in for that same role, or whether you decide to go somewhere else and take your talent somewhere else to reach those heights, you're going to be so much sharper than everybody else. You're going to be so much better than everybody else. Like, I like sports. I might pick that up, but to take it back to sports, a lot of times growing up, me and my little cuz, we played with our big cousins, and we played with a lot of guys who, on the basketball court, were at least 6, 7 years older than us. And what happened was, as we started coming into age, it helped us, because when you go from playing against grown men when you 13, 14, when you go from playing against grown men to playing against your peers, there's a lot of things that begin to feel easy. Like when you fighting with a grown man for a rebound, trying to box him out, that's twice your size, a little skinny linky kid who might be a little bit taller than you, yo, it's no problem. I could just move you right on out the way. Like I can have my way with you. Having to shoot over a grown man who might be 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", when you ain't even got your final growth spurt yet, and you playing against peers who might not even be 6 feet. It's like, oh yeah, this is cakewalk. This is easy. Like in a one-on-one sense, like this is easy. I can do whatever I want to do. Like, I'm prepared for this. I'm more than prepared for this. And that's what happens when we embrace adversity. My grandfather had a saying that he used to tell me. I was a little bit of a savant when I was younger. A lot of things would come naturally to me. So it was really foreign for me to pick up something and not be good. And oftentimes when I wasn't good at something that I just picked up, a lot of times I would just throw it down and leave. And my granddad would say to me, like, yo, anything worth it ain't easy. There would be some things in life you have to work at. And just because it ain't easy, don't mean it ain't worth it. So, in terms of setbacks, I mean, everybody has to kind of find what works for them. But acknowledge your feelings. Be real and be honest with yourself. Have a sober assessment of yourself. Ask for that feedback. Find ways that you can make yourself better and make yourself the more obvious choice the next go round. And you know, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. There's no better feeling than getting over that hump of that hill. And it's happened a couple times where, you know, folks have I've poured in a particular place, but I hasn't ended up being where I've gotten it out. And, you know, when you know you're ready, when you know you're prepared, when you know you can meet the challenge, and all you need is opportunity, and you finally get that, sometimes it's a great feeling when you go somewhere else and you perform and show out in a new place, because this is nothing but pure pettiness coming out right now. So just to contextualize what I'm saying, it can feel vindicating, because it's like, okay, these folks, in some cases, these folks who should know me best wouldn't give me an opportunity, but the person who decided to give me a risk, who decided to take a risk and give me a shot, an opportunity, like they're getting to reap the reward of all the hard work and everything that I put in. So, you know, to me, success is always the sweetest feeling after you've gone through adversity. And really, that adversity is the womb that prepares you for it, to be able to step into it. So, I'm nearly to my destination. I think this is going to be it for me. But, you know, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm going to try to be more regular with the content going forward. And, you know, if you find that anything that I say appeals, feel free to share it out to your friends and family. Feel free to comment. Like, if you feel I'm full of it, put it down in the comments. If you feel I'm making some great points, put it down in the comments. If you feel it's great, like it. If you feel it's trash, dislike it. Just give me honest feedback. Thank you all. Hope you have a great Mother's Day Sunday. Tell your mama happy Mother's Day if you haven't already. Well, every day should be Mother's Day. Every day should be Father's Day. If you still got your folks, there shouldn't be a day that they wake up and they realize that they not realize that they loved by you and they appreciated by you. And our actions and conversations should imply that each and every day. So while this is the day set aside to celebrate our moms, you know, let's make sure that we're doing what is necessary to make sure that every single day they're feeling loved and appreciated as they should. So I won't turn into the pastor. Final closing this time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace. I'm out.